Hey everybody, welcome back to another phone call with freedom. I am your host, Sarah Jane. Thanks for showing up in my corner of the world where we talk the universe. Today I wanted to talk about meditation. I get asked this quite often, what is meditation? And so I thought it would be great to do an episode where we kind of pick that apart. I think it's a lot more simplistic than a lot of people think. A beautiful place to start when referring to meditation is that there are levels to meditation. When I first started meditating, it looked one way to me. Now I'm 7 years in, I've dedicated my life to educating myself about the energy field and the mind and meditation, of course. So what meditation looks like to me today is totally different. That's important for you to know because there is no right or wrong way to meditate. It depends on who you are and where you're at in your journey regarding what meditation is going to look like for you. And the more you expand, that way of meditation is going to change. For example, when I first started meditating, to me, it was visualizing. That's it. Really, when you talk about what meditation is, to me, it's visualization. I would close my eyes and see myself on a beach, and I would try to get as in detail as I could, look down and feel the sand between my toes, feel the sun on my face, hear the waves, hear the birds. The first time I tried to meditate, I was about 15 seconds before I came back out of it. But even after that 15 seconds, I realized that I actually felt better. Like seeing myself on the beach with toes in the sand for 15 seconds actually elevated my vibration. Now, I've undergone conditioning just like everybody else. Our subconscious minds have been conditioned through our observations, our experiences, and of course, society. So it was not the easiest thing to be in my mind in the beginning, because when I first would close my eyes and allow a visual to come in, it was always something negative. It was something that happened earlier that day, or something that wasn't serving me, or a fear of mine would come up, and so then I'd pull myself out of the visual. It wasn't until I understood that the mind was conditioned, and that's a part of the process, that I started realizing I have to run through these visuals. I have to learn how to become comfortable in seeing myself somewhere. That was when I just continued in on this idea of seeing myself in little spots. So at first it was on a beach, and then, it's at a park, and then it would be at my house, or maybe I was out back, planting in the garden, but I'm actually laying flat in my bedroom meditating, right? So it was just about allowing myself to be in my mind and learning how to feel safe there. And really all that is visualization. Just visualize yourself somewhere. As you continue building on that, your visions begin to expand. At the same time that I was entertaining and educating myself about this idea of meditation, which of course I was listening to other people, I was asking advice, I was watching documentaries, but I was also asking myself, what does it look like to me? No one's going to be able to tell me what meditation looks like to me. I can't tell you what it looks like to you. I can only tell you what it looked like to me in hopes that can help you piece together what it's going to look like for you. At the end of the day, it's extremely important for you to gather all this information and then put it through your own internal sifter. Does this resonate with me? Is this something that's going to work with me? So at that time that I was kind of sifting through everything that I believed, I was entertaining this idea of a higher self. I didn't know exactly what that looked like yet. I had gotten to a point where I decided to believe that we were multidimensional. In other words, there's other worlds outside of this one. And I had also decided to believe that in one of these worlds, there's a version of me that has my best, highest interest in mind and loves me and is guiding me subtly on this plane from that dimension. So that is what I refer to as my higher self. I had just begun playing with that whole concept. Is that something I wanted to believe? Was that something I trusted? We're on a ball floating in space. I just was evaluating all of my options. So I was in this space of also entertaining a relationship with a version of myself elsewhere, outside of this world. That did help me at the time that I was meditating, because what happened was my meditations started as small visuals where I was just by myself. But then as I continued studying meditation, my visuals began to expand, and ultimately I ended up working with that version of myself. So my visions went from me being on the beach or me being in the garden to me being in a school of some sorts and actively undergoing certain tests. Now, mind you, this is all visual, right? But in these tests, I would have to face certain fears. For example, one of the biggest fears that we've been taught is basically that we could be overrun any day. Anybody can just come in and plow you over, from unhealed people to demonic possession, okay? These are the things that we've been taught. Every scary movie out there tells you that you're vulnerable. Now, what I've discovered through understanding the universal laws is that is in no way, shape, or form accurate. You have an energy field that protects you, but what you believe affects what can interact with your energy field. Okay, so when it comes to meditating, you're closing your eyes, you're going into these other spaces. There was fear in that in the beginning for me because I didn't know what I was going to find there. I didn't know if I was vulnerable or not, because my whole life I was taught that I was small through societal conditioning, right? I was subject, I was vulnerable. I believed this. So part of meditating, a part of the purpose of meditating was to assist me in gaining back this awareness that I am in control of my energy field. I am not just vulnerable. There is a rhyme or reason to the things that occur in my reality, and I need to start by altering that belief in itself. So when I was in these spaces, my meditations eventually, I hit different levels. And as I elevated in consciousness, my meditations look different. So next thing you know, I'm in this school, I'm in these classes. There was this one meditation. Now, I'm not saying this to frighten anybody, okay? You have to understand, I've been on this journey for a long time, but I want to give an example of how powerful your meditations are. Now, this wasn't quote unquote real. I was in a sleep state per se. But in my mind, it was real. My emotions, my thoughts, my heart, my conscious and my subconscious doesn't know the difference between what you're visualizing and what's actually happening in your reality. So to my energy field, this was all very real. I walk into this room, and this room is basically looks like a spaceship. Which is interesting because every room you walk into has something different to offer. So this particular room, I walk in, it's like there's a bunch of chairs facing a huge window and you're looking out into space. The whole room's completely empty, but there is one individual sitting in a chair facing out. So I can't see their face, I can only see the back of their head, but I can tell that they're like not the most appealing looking. So immediately it brings up this feeling of fear within me because I'm like, well, why are you guys bringing me into this room with this one individual who's like staring out the window, right? So I realize that at that point, I'm being tested. So I'm like, you know what? No judgment. Don't judge the way this individual looks. Just come into the room. You manhandle the room. You're the boss. You're always the boss, right? Now, mind you, when you're having a visual and you're having internal dialogue like that, you are literally rewiring your subconscious mind to believe that you are more powerful than what you've been taught. It's in these moments where you get tested that you literally rewire your belief structure about yourself and about this world. So I walk in, I sit down. I've already made the choice in my mind, like, this is going to go good, whatever this is. I look over at this person. They're now sitting to the left of me. And real quick, they grab my face. Okay? Grab my face. So I got this like weird looking thing, grab my face. In that moment, instead of grabbing their arm and ripping it off and jumping up and beginning to start this aggressive fight with them, I let them grab my face, and in that moment, I just slowly lift my hand up and grab their hand, and I slowly remove it from my face. And I look them right in their eyes, and I'm like, why are you upset? What are you upset about? Let's talk. And in that moment, the whole tension from their body just released. And they took their hand away, and then they got up and they walked over to another part of the room where there was a door. They opened the door, and there was all these different people that then file in behind them. And there was so many different people, men, women, every culture you could imagine was there. Every time period was there. And the energy immediately was excitement. And all the chairs filled up with all these people. And then the person that this all had started with comes back around, sits down next to me and says, okay, let's talk. And I said, who are all these people? And they said, they're you. They're you in all your other lifetimes. And they have gifts that you've acquired from all your other lifetimes. But you can't access those gifts until you're ready. They said, this was a test for you. Do you believe that you're in control? Can you lead with love? Because if you're not, that's fine. But we still have some deconditioning to do that. If you don't believe that you're powerful, if you don't believe that you're in control, if you can't lead with love, then we need to work on some things and get you there before you can access some of these gifts. Now, what I'm telling you was all visual, okay? So I don't know the right or the wrong. But what I do know is when I came out of that meditation, when I came out of that visual, I was a better person. I felt better about myself. I felt stronger about myself. I felt like, wait a minute, I can lead with love. I don't need to let anything scare me at all. I am in control. And this is just one of many, many, many meditations that I've had. I could go on and on about all the types of different meditations I've had. And my point is, none of that stuff starts happening until you really start hitting higher levels of meditation. But my point is, when you visualize, you start with small visuals of just allowing yourself to be in this space in your mind and feel comfortable there. And then it slowly evolves into bigger visuals and possibly working with yourself on different platforms outside of what you're conditioned or used to. It just really turns into this beautiful friendship that you develop between yourself and your mind. But there is that breakthrough process that happens in the beginning where, 10, 15 seconds, and that's all I could do, and that was fine. And then you show up the next day, 10, 15 seconds, okay. But then you show up the next day, and now you're doing 25 seconds, and then a week into trying, you're 3 minutes into meditation. Next thing you know, you're doing 15, 20-minute meditations. A little bit down the road, you're meditating over an hour a day. And you're loving it because it's a break from this reality. You get to go somewhere else where you know you're safe, where you're loved, you're supported. And depending on what your perspective is, you're being trained with your higher self to gain back your confidence. Essentially, everybody's visuals are going to look different depending on what you believe. I believe we're multidimensional. I believe in a higher self. So therefore, a lot of my meditations portray a school of some sort. And I'm there to learn and to grow. There's also meditations that are simplistic as a pool. You know, I'll walk into the school, and just like our schools here, a lot of them have pools, right? So I'll walk in, I'll walk to the pool, but it's like beautiful and there's greenery everywhere. Everything in my meditative state is definitely like it is here, but better. Everything's much more flamboyant and bright, and there's like lily pads, and the water is crystal clear, and and everything happens so quick in the higher realms. So it's like all of a sudden you have a bathing suit on, and it's the best bathing suit you've ever had in your life, and you look and feel amazing in this bathing suit. And then you're taking a dip into the pool, and the water is just rejuvenating, and you see yourself and feel your body soaking in this pure, beautiful water. And then you come out, and when you come out of the water, you don't need to dry off. You're automatically dry. Your hair automatically looks amazing. You're back into your next outfit, which is gorgeous, makes you look flawless, and you feel so good about yourself. And then boom, you come back out of the visual and you're back in the 3D. But by visualizing that, you were able to help your body to cleanse your energy field. And this only takes a second, but it will absolutely change your life. Absolutely change your life. Next week, we're going to do a podcast episode on meditation. We'll touch on what meditation is, and then we're also going to dive into how you can connect with loved ones that have crossed over, some of my experience with that, because meditation is beneficial for several reasons. One, of course, is for your own benefit. It helps you to decondition and recondition. It helps you to break free of limitations within your mind, helps you to let go of old beliefs, bring in new beliefs. You can heal yourself through meditation. Essentially, you're gaining a relationship with areas of yourself. So, of course, this is extremely important, but you can also connect with your loved ones on the other side. And so I kind of want to begin touching on that. And then we will have a third one where I give in detail some of the meditations that I've been through. For those of you that are interested in hearing detailed versions of what some of my meditations look like. I am also currently working on designing my own guided meditations. So I'm really excited about that. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for me. I sincerely appreciate it. Keeps me moving in the right direction. If you haven't already, hop on my website at www.innersarah, INNERSARAH.com, and subscribe that way so that you get notified when my book comes out. Otherwise, definitely begin educating yourself about different methods of meditation. Please reach out if you have any questions. The comment section is always wide open. I love getting comments. So start with small visuals and then allow those visuals to expand. As time moves on and you get better and better, you're going to begin building this relationship and trusting your visuals, and it's going to be a safe space to learn from in the future. So I love you. I support you. Thank you so much for loving and supporting me. I'm back here every Monday for Read with SJ. So if you haven't checked out over there, make sure you do. It's always a good time. And then, of course, every Wednesday, we're right back here for another phone call with Freedom.